you're putting your answer in. One of the places that I really love that I visited last week with my family is the Franciscan Monastery that's over in Ward 5. Ward 5, shout out. It's just a wonderful place to be. So whatever comes to mind, a place, a feeling, a memory, all of those things, those will start populating. And again, if you're watching via live stream, you can participate too. And as folks are thinking about your answer, I just want to take a moment to really acknowledge the incredible team at OP who helped put this event together and are going to be the partners with you in this journey and leading us through as we put together DC 2050. So the cloud is already populating, and we see diversity and we see culture. Walking among the autumn leaves, we see the potential of the waterfront, job opportunities, community. The city is alive, the people, accessibility, public transportation, world-class transit, the history, urban landscape, and a whole host of other things. So please continue to populate this. These are the kinds of things that we'll be thinking about and will be the basis as we start to work together on DC 2050. This is our opportunity to plan how we can preserve and enhance what we value, the things that are here, as well as preparing our city to meet the needs and challenges of the next 25 years. Show of hands, how many of you were involved in the most recent amendment process? Comprehensive Plan Amendment process. Wonderful, wonderful. And so many of you who were involved know that comprehensive plans are required by DC's home rule. Even more importantly, equally as importantly, they set us up for some shared priorities around our future. And so it was just a few years ago that we adopted that amended comprehensive plan. And it incorporated some important new priorities like the mayor's housing goals related to 36K by 2025, which we've achieved, and that deserves a hand clap. It's also really important to remember that that plan was really built on priorities that were established 2 decades ago. So just think back 2 decades and what the priorities were. They're a bit different than they are today. Our current comprehensive plan, it doesn't address some of the things that we're dealing with today related to the impact of the pandemic on how we live, we work, we shop, we recreate, and connect with one another. Today, DC is a city of over 702,000 people, and we are growing. Indeed, we are growing. By 2050, we're projected to add 145,000 new residents and 175,000 jobs. And so when we rewrite our comprehensive plan, we can really identify how we as a city can develop and accommodate growth in a way that ensures our neighborhoods provide what residents need to thrive and for the city to be prosperous. DC 2050 is going to guide where we build new housing, grow job opportunities, connect our neighborhoods, preserve our rich history, and invest in amenities. So, in the spirit of engagement again, pull out your phone again. We've got another poll question for you. So you've heard me say a little bit about DC 2050 at a high level. Let's talk about the topics that really matter to you and resonate with you the most. So the question is, in your opinion, what should DC prioritize most in planning for the next several decades? In your opinion, what should we prioritize most in planning for the next several decades? You can pick a number of these, and you'll see the options on your screen. And this is important because Mayor Bowser mentioned this in the budget forums this last week. We know our resources are not infinite, and so it's important for us to really set priorities and identify what those priorities are and identify solutions to help us use our resources the right way. So part of what planning for the future is about is really understanding the topics that are top of mind for us and bring those issues forward as we create DC 2050. So as we look up, We see housing is in the lead. Housing options to fit different budgets and needs is hovering above 70% pretty strongly. The second one is are kind of tied, and maybe tied for a three-way tie around ways to get around, access to daily needs like grocery stores and pharmacies, parks, libraries, and recreation centers. So it is incredibly helpful for us to hear from you about what are those key top-of-mind issues for you. So I really appreciate you all participating in the poll, and I want to share a little bit about what DC 2050 is going to look like and what it's going to mean for you. So over the next year and a half, we're going to be working with residents, community organizations, businesses, and elected officials to develop DC 2050. We invite you to join us. There are several ways that you can get started. One is visiting our website, dc2050.com, and we encourage you to sign up for our emails where you'll get information about the sets of events that we're going to have. Our first public events are going to be March 22nd, 25th, and 27th. We'll have both virtual and in-person meeting options. And this will really introduce residents to the comprehensive plan. We saw a show of hands, and we still want to continue to get the word out so that people understand the importance of this, and we encourage you to share it with your friends and neighbors and colleagues as well. You can also reach out to our team at dc2050@dc.gov, or give us a call at 202-442-7600. And together, Washingtonians young and old in all 8 wards who've lived here for generations, and those like me who moved here from elsewhere, together we can imagine and create the future, the city that we want for our future. And now it's my pleasure to invite dear colleague Steve Glaudet, who's the president and CEO of the coalition.
Thank you, Director Kozak. The coalition, as we're now known, is made up of about 100 nonprofits and about 40 mission-driven for-profits who work across the footprint of preventing homelessness, affordable housing, workforce development, community development, small and minority business development, and more. So obviously our interests in the plans that are going to be developed for the next 25 years are really critical. We were involved instrumentally in the last 5-year, 2 5-year updates since the mayor and her team have been involved. And the last one played a critical role around negotiating some of the housing provisions in the use of planned unit development. So we look forward to even a more robust engagement with you and the mayor. I want to just say greetings, Mayor Bowser, and greeting Councilman Felder. It is my pleasure to introduce the mayor this morning, and even though I know we're here to talk about the next 25 years, I would be remiss not to acknowledge how the mayor and our district leaders are guiding, managing, and leading us through what can only be described as one of the most challenging moments in the district's history. And I'd just like to take this moment to say thank you for your courage and your leadership. Current challenges aside, I'm excited about looking forward because I know we are capable of envisioning and then planning for a future we want. A large part of what gives me this comfort are what I call the 2 T's, tenure and track record. We have a deep tenure on our side. We are fortunate to be going into this process with a mayor, her senior team, and other leaders who have been serving the district for 10+ years. That is an advantage in looking forward. They know our communities, they know our residents, they know our challenges, our aspirations, and our possibilities. Secondly, the Bowser administration has a rich track record of engaging community and sectors at pivotal moments on important issues. The Preservation Strike Force, the Rental Housing Strike Force, just to name a few, and not to mention her budget town hall meetings, which I'm certain many of you have participated in over the last week and in past years. I hope you spent your $100 wisely. All this to say, though the challenges we are facing are not small by any means, we are armed with tools, expertise, and a dedicated administration working to ensure that the next 25 years is safe, prosperous, and beneficial for all of our residents. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Wow. What an event. I want to thank you, Steve, for that introduction. I also want to acknowledge my wonderful team at the DC Office of Planning, led by Anita Kozart. Give Anita a big round of applause. I want to acknowledge and thank your council member for being here, Wendell Felder. Please acknowledge the council member Felder. We're standing in the middle of the beautiful Strand Theater. Isn't it something? I want to thank Greg Caston and his team at Fish and Fire Group for their investment in this wonderful building. We're in Deanwood. This is a promise I made to deliver the Strand. Now I don't even remember all the twists and turns to get here, but I'm proud to say it was a promise made and now a promise kept. The site is a great example of what we're working for in DC 2050, neighborhoods and corridors that have access to high quality amenities, jobs, and public spaces. And the Strand will be an example of exactly that, a community hub, a full-service restaurant in Ward 7, supported by one of our initiatives, the DC Food Access Fund. And I have to say, this fund has been one of our most successful ways of creating food retailers in Washington, D.C., especially in Ward 7 and Ward 8. Additionally, 86 housing units. So this is a win-win for our community, for housing, for retail, for food, and for Ward 7. So places like this show us what's possible when historic preservation and inclusive development come together to deliver something that is truly, truly breathtaking for the community. And we have a lot of opportunities ahead of us right now, opportunities to transform underused spaces into vibrant neighborhoods, to build more housing, to create more jobs and economic development that benefit all of us. And Steve is quite right. We're living in a time, maybe unprecedented time in Washington, D.C. in our modern history. But this is what I know. When you face challenges, there are always opportunities. And it is fitting that we're talking about planning for the next 25 years. Notice I didn't say we were talking about wringing our hands or crying in our soup, although there's going to be some of that too, because a lot of people are really hurting. But our job is to get to work, to plan for the next 25 years and to be smart about how we get there. DC 2050 will be our roadmap. It will guide us in land use decisions, help us shape investments in infrastructure and public spaces, and ensure that as DC grows, it grows equitably, sustainably, and in a way that reflects our communities. Our current comprehensive plan, Anita probably went over this, was adopted in 2006. Mayor Williams was the mayor. Now, I know you remember a lot of hearings and discussions about the comprehensive plan since then. Those were updates or amendments to the comprehensive plan. So what we are embarking on it takes a lot of work and a lot of great thought, but it will be our roadmap. Let me remind you of some of the bold pronouncements that were made back in 2006. Now, keep in mind, people thought Mayor Williams was crazy at the time. He said he wanted to attract 100,000 new residents to Washington, D.C. So back then, I don't know, maybe we were a little bit over 500,000 people in the district. Now we're 702,000 people in the district. That was a goal. That was the plan. Back then, we probably were, just out of junk bond status, and we couldn't borrow money easily in the markets. Now we have a AAA bond rating. Back then, we weren't too far away from a control board, and now we have balanced 28 budgets. So it's just an idea. We had a plan. It was bold, and we achieved the goals set out in that plan. So now I'm asking you to be bold again, to be hopeful again, and to make sure that the decisions we make around how we use our land, about how we invest the district's dollars, are helping to grow our economy, helping to grow it. Now, we have enjoyed a robust economy for the last many years, 15 or more, since the last recession. And that has allowed us to make the types of investments that reflect our values and how we want to grow our city. And we're going to continue to make those types of investments. But again, we have to be smart about how we do it. This is another thing that we will do in the very near future that reflects our values and how we've made our investments and how we're going to make our city better. We're going to open the state-of-the-art Cedar Hill Regional Medical Center in Ward 8 in April. Again, reflected in our plans, of course, is making sure we have enough schools, medical facilities, parks, and transportation to serve our growing community. We know that we will grow as a city, and making sure that we have those public amenities is so important. Can I brag about our fourth graders for a second? I know we're not really talking about schools, but we kind of always are. We got the nation's report card back, and our fourth graders outpaced fourth graders, not just in urban school districts, but in all schools across America. And that was because Mayor Fenty made the bold goal that the mayor and council should be accountable for how our schools perform. And since then, we've asked the taxpayers to stand with us and make the investments necessary in our people and our buildings and our curriculum. And as a result, we have grown our city. And so over the next 2 years, these are the type of questions that Director Cozart and her team are going to ask. How do we attract people to live here, work here, stay here, retire here, pay taxes here, put their kids in schools here, use our retailers and restaurants here, visit our city, go to our theaters, go to our monuments and museums? And all of that activity not just generates a great life for all of us who are very wise to live here, but to attract other people to live in the best city in the world. So I am looking forward to these discussions. I am looking forward to your great ideas. And I've been involved with a lot of planning exercises, a lot of economic development meetings. And this is one thing that I know. Our projects and our plans are always better with community input. It's not always easy, but it's always better. So thank you and good luck, and I look forward to working with you. So Director Cozart, are you going to give us some instructions? Or I'm taking a few questions? No. Okay. What's next? Director, thank you.
So we are gonna, in the spirit of engagement, as the mayor shared, there are interactive stations around this room. And there are 3 of them. One involves our vision survey, which is going to be open for the next couple of months. And so those of you who are listening online, you can take our vision survey, visit dc2050.com to access it. And then there are 2 other stations in the room. The mayor and the council member and Mr. Glade and I are going to demonstrate for you how you go to those stations, and want to thank you so much for being here, and we're looking forward to engaging all of you.
We now return to our previously scheduled program, already in progress.
Everybody get a good white balance since the mic got thrown up?
Is everyone good? Okay.
You're good.